Bam. Grant Miller here, Miami Community News. I'm with Cynthia Borkoski. Am I correct?
You got it.
Wow.
You got it.
Before we get moving forward about what you do, your organization belongs to the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. Am I correct?
Correct.
What other
Coral Gables, also with the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, also with the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So we're really making a presence in our community.
So your organization believes in being part of the community.
100%.
Okay, so where's your name from?
My name, it's a long story. I was born in Argentina and raised in Brazil, right? But you can see my last name is not from South America.
Where did that come from?
Well, actually, I was only second generation born in South America. My grandparents on my mom's side of the family, they actually migrated from Slovakia. Actually, they didn't quite migrate it. They were in a trip, you know, kind of getting to know South America and in the idea of potentially moving there before the Second World War started. And the Second World War started when they were in the middle of the trip.
They said, we're staying.
They had to,
Yeah,
right?
well, you know,
no other option.
A lot of people don't realize South America has so many Europeans who went there before the war, during the war. It's, you know, and after the war, they all just migrated to South America.
Yes.
And there's pockets in Argentina of different nationality, different countries. Am I correct?
Different countries. So on my dad's side of the family is Poland, and on my mom's side of the family is Slovakia. So if I do a 23andMe, I'm like 99.99% European.
Yeah. All right. So you're from Argentina, but you're raised in Brazil.
In Brazil.
Your last name is from what?
It's Polish.
Okay.
So I'm a mix of Polish and Slovakia as well.
And then part Brazilian just because you were raised there.
I was raised there. Yeah, I always say Brazilian at heart. Okay. For sure.
So how many languages? You speak English?
I do.
Spanish?
I hope.
Spanish?
Spanish.
Portuguese?
Portuguese.
And Portuguese is mainly spoken in Brazil or where?
Yeah, pretty much Brazil is the only non-Spanish speaking country in South America.
Okay, so in English, how are you? In Spanish, hola, ¿cómo está? In Portuguese?
Oi, como é que você está?
Okay.
Tudo bem?
Yeah. Okay. Where did you go to high school?
I went to high school in Brazil. You know,
and what language did they teach?
In Portuguese. Portuguese. But I actually, I was an exchange student for my last year. So I actually finished high school in Australia. You know, so I graduated from Kawana State Waters. So Kawana High.
In Australia?
In Australia.
And that's English?
That's English.
A funny English.
Funny, but it's interesting because this is in 1992, Grant. There was nobody that speaks Spanish or Portuguese there. So I was literally 100% submersed in English.
And where did you stay?
I stayed with a family.
And did they have their family stay with your parents?
No, that system, they didn't have specifically exchange. However, there was one of my brothers that did an exchange program before.
Okay, so did you get to go to college anywhere?
I did go to college in Brazil.
So it came home. And what college was that?
I came back home, and I did international business. So I graduated from a school called Unicinos. It's one of the main universities in Porto Alegre, which is my hometown, right? And right after my graduation in 1998, I went over to San Diego, California.
Before we get to San Diego, you know, people don't realize Brazil is so important to the world because you have the Amazon. Am I correct? Yes. People don't realize that a lot of the climate change, everything revolves around that Amazon. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's the heart of the world, as they say.
People don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
Now, how big is it?
It's huge. It's, you know, when you think about Brazil as being, you know, the developing parts and the main cities is really concentrated on the coast. You know, big portions of Brazil, they're not as populated, and Amazon takes a big portion of it, for sure.
Okay, so you end up going to San Diego. Why San Diego?
I actually had a good friend of mine that she
Brazilian?
Brazilian.
Okay.
She chose not to go to school, right? So she graduated.
Go like this. There you go. Okay.
Got it. Got a piece of hair.
Right. Okay, so you moved to San Diego. At 20-ish.
So this friend of mine chose not to go to college, and she moved straight to San Diego. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I want to go. And my parents were like, only after you graduate. So I went to school, graduated in international business, and then literally, I graduated in October. By the end of October of 98, I was in a plane going to San Diego and exploring a new opportunity, new side of the world. And
San Diego is incredible, beautiful, right?
It is.
And a beautiful military base, by the way.
Beautiful all around. The only thing, the water is so cold.
Very cold.
I can't. That's why I'm in Miami.
Okay, so you go to San Diego. What do you do there?
Oh my gosh. So the whole idea wasn't to stay, right? So I was gonna come back home. I had my apartment, my house, my car over in Brazil. So I wasn't gonna stay specifically in San Diego, but I was gonna spend a year or two there. Then I happened to meet my ex-husband, which kept me there. So
wait, you met your husband.
Yes, ex-husband.
Okay, but you met some guy. Where was he from?
He was from Pennsylvania.
A Pennsylvania guy in San Diego.
And
you met him there, and you got married there, and you stayed there for a while.
And I stayed there for a while. Yeah.
And then, what did you do exactly in San Diego?
My previous life, I was actually a mortgage broker. And it's interesting because obviously we lived through one of the biggest moments of the U.S. history, which is the meltdown and the crisis in 2008. So today, when I watch some of those documentaries, it's still kind of surreal that I was part of it as well, and I actually got to live it. So after that, I actually rebuilt myself, focusing as a business consultant and doing what I do to this day.
Okay, so you went from San Diego, one of the most beautiful places in the world, to the most beautiful place in the world. So you went from number 2 to number 1.
Lucky me, right?
Oh, absolutely. She moved to Miami.
So how did I end up in Miami? You're asking me. Okay. Well, after my divorce in San Diego, I started reevaluating things, and I started to consider potentially moving back home.
This is your home now.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. But you're right. This is home. But as we evolve, as we mature, family is everything, right, Grant?
Correct.
So I'm very close to my parents. And since my sister also live abroad.
Where does she live?
At the time, she was in Paris.
You speak French at all? A little bit?
She does. My brother-in-law does. I don't. I can understand a little bit, but not quite. Yeah,
Okay. All right. So she lives in Paris. You live here.
I live here. So I happen to have the opportunity with my previous employer to actually run a sales team in my hometown in Brazil. So considering that, but the goal was to be closer to my family. My sister was abroad. I just went for it, However, I have to tell you, this was in 2012. So I have to tell you, it was an incredible experience, but at the same time, very difficult, and anybody that grew up on a third world country can probably relate that after living 14 years in United States, it was very challenging to adapt.
Well, on top of it all, again, you lived in one of the most beautiful areas in the world.
Exactly.
Right.
Entertaining after living in San Diego, when I had friends visiting, I'm like, oh my gosh, where do I take them? Right. I don't have beautiful places to take them.
All right. So you're in Brazil. How do you end up in Miami?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the reason why is because once I went back, I actually got my MBAs in one of the top business schools over there. And my goal was already set on coming back to the United States. And I always said, when I live in San Diego, I always said to myself, if I ever leave San Diego, Miami will be a place that I could see myself living in, specifically because of the beaches and the water. It's like, I'm very passionate about water and the beaches, and, it's incredible that we can.
How far do you live from the beach now? I know you live in Sunny Isles, right?
Surfside.
Surfside. 100
Just
yards?
A couple of blocks.
Hundred yards?
Yeah, it takes me like 5 minutes walking.
To walk there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like living on the water. Get the great benefit.
It's gorgeous. I love it. I love my little neighborhood. So.
And Surfside's a beautiful community. The mayor, I know he has some difficulties on some buildings, but Surfside has not overgrown. It's a nice little community.
And it's a tough, very, very much involved. And, when I decided to come back, that, staying in Brazil wasn't an option for me. Miami, geographically speaking, was also great because my parents could come and go a lot easier. And the reason why I ended up in Surfside is I actually got an Airbnb before moving to kind of see the places where potentially I could buy a home. And after riding my bike around, I just fell in love with it. And the reasons exactly for what you mentioned is still, we still have the ability to keep it as a small community.
If you go through Miami Beach and Surfside, not Surfside, Miami Beach, Sunny Isles, it's grown
tremendously.
Surfside, it's like the 70s or 80s. It's beautiful. It's a quaint little town, and then you have the most famous city in the country. What city's behind you? Golden.
Behind me?
The private island.
Golden Beach.
Golden Beach. And what's the other one?
Golden Beach, and then you have the Indian Creek where you have all the mansions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just crazy. It's so beautiful.
All right. So you're in Miami and you're selling what?
I'm in Miami, and I've been a business consultant for over the last 12 years, right? And now my main passion and the reason why I got into this industry, it's exactly because of it. I used to consult with business owners and executives on risk management, employee retention, turnover, and healthcare. And healthcare was the one area that I spent the most time on. So it became pretty frustrating, because you get tired of delivering bad news to your clients, and having a 10, 15, 20% renewal every year, it just not sustainable, know, and like, where is that coming from? And I just got very frustrated by the fact that there's no real answers or explanations where you can actually comprehend what are the calculations behind it. How do you justify that kind of level of increase? So with that said, today I'm focused only on employee benefits.
And what the company you're with?
I'm with USI Insurance Services.
And we're headquartered out of?
And we're headquarters in New York, but we are nationwide. We're one of the top 10 brokers in the country. We have over 200 local offices across the country with over 8,000 employees. But what makes me really excited, Grant, about partnering with USI in order to support my clients is all the experts that I get in my team to support me. I have risk attorneys, I have underwriters, I have actuaries, I have communication experts, technology experts.
With healthcare.
To help me with healthcare.
I have to jump back because I have OCD, ADD. You're also, the city that you live in, Surfside, you're helping organize and giving bonuses to the employees. What is that?
Oh, that's right. I mentioned to you that, right? So it's kind of a funny story because I just moved to Surfside, and then I saw a post on Nextdoor, the app for neighbors, of somebody like sharing the story that she was moving to the West Coast, to Naples, and she needed someone to take over a nonprofit organization that has been running since the 70s there in Surfside, right? And I cannot tell you why, but I replied to her right at the same second, without even knowing what the commitment will be at. Thank you. I'll play with my hands now. But anyways, long story short, I've been running this nonprofit, which is called Surfside Civic Association, for several years now, for over 5 years. And what we do is actually collect money from the community in order to give our city employees a bonus at the end of the year. Wow. And having that actually allowed me to get to know the city employees on a much better and closer way. So, it's very nice.
You give them during the holidays, the organization.
Yes. I'm actually gonna be doing the distribution this week. So
maybe next time the show, you'll talk about that. Okay?
100%. I would love to.
All right. So let's talk about healthcare, because that's what you're on.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody has an issue about healthcare. Can you put her webpage up? What is your webpage?
From USI?
Yeah.
USI Insurances, USI.com.
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 And then could you put her email up there across the bottom too? Okay. So healthcare is very confusing. We got Obamacare. We got this healthcare. We got every insurance company. I'm totally confused. The regular person is confused. And then top it all, healthcare for employees, non-employees, over 100 employees, it's very confusing for everybody. So you got 5 minutes, not straight.
Oh my!
To talk about how USI, US one, is it USI?
USI.
USI. How USI can help the regular person understand. Doesn't mean they have to hire from you. Your job as a healthcare provider or is to teach people more about it. So what's the first thing you should teach people to know about healthcare?
Well, if I may,
you got the mic.
If I may, I would like to enhance why I'm so passionate about this topic.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Okay.
Why am I so passionate about this topic? And why is it so important to create urgency in order to drive change? Right? As I mentioned, I just got tired of seeing renewals over and over again like this. And the tactic that employers have been able to leverage in order to manage those is literally by increasing their deductibles in order to maintain the cost that they've been paying or change, right? But one thing, missing the camera over here, one thing that people don't really understand is the fact that health benefits is part of your total compensation, right? My goal, as far as working in this area, is actually to help employers give better benefits to their employees.
Okay.
Why is that so important? How can you have an employee that is engaged, right? How can you have your employee have peace of mind if, one, they don't have healthcare, or two, maybe they do healthcare, but it costs an average of $20,000 a year to insure a family of four. Or what's happening right now, a lot of the employees are neglecting care, meaning not going to the doctor or doing procedures that are needed just because they can't afford because of the high deductibles, right? Because you tell me, how can an employee be happy with their employer, right, with the company that they work for, when they cannot afford to go to the doctor because their deductible is too high? So before they kick in any benefits, they have to pay out of pocket. So that for me is a struggle that affects me, affects you, affects your family, affects your employees, affects everybody in the community. So to go back to your question, how do you help? We need to meet our employers where they're at right now and really help them understand how did we got to this point, right? There's a couple of different challenges that the industry has. And I can go over through a whole laundry list, Grant, which is not enough time over here. You'll be bored out of my mind, of your mind, talking to me for many hours. But it's very complex, convoluted. And some of the issues are, first, the market. You have the government sponsoring programs like Medicare and Medicaid, and you have commercial insurance, which is the employers, right? What happens is the employers are pretty much subsidizing the cost for the government. So if I am a retiree and I need a joint replacement, if I go to the hospital and Medicare is going to pay for me, it's going to cost an average of $25,000 to $25,000. That's how much the government's going to pay. Now, if I work for you and you pay me my benefits, right? I go and do the exact same procedure, the exact same service. I'm going to pay most likely at least 200% more, if not 5 to 10 times more. Do you think that's fair?
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you.
It's a problem.
Right.
It's a problem. Another problem that we have is also the payer system. Today, hospitals and doctors, they get paid based on volume, right? So the more they see, the more they increase their profits. So literally, if I'm one of those institutions, the sicker my patient is, the more money I make. So that needs to change as well, because there has to be an incentive about keeping your people healthy, right?
How do we solve this?
It's complicated. And the first thing that we do on our case, what we do is actually sitting down with the employers and understanding where are they at, how far did they got, and getting them out of the traditional system. Because one of the items that I was going to say is the insurance carriers, they play a big role as far as not educating their employees about the employers about other options that they can fund healthcare. There's a huge amount, especially here in Miami, which is a very conservative market. They're mainly on fully insured plans. You're a car guy, right?
I am.
You are.
Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When you buy a car, do you want to learn everything about it?
Right.
Right? You want to test drive it, because I know you do test drive
Right.
your cars,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
So if I'm paying for health insurance on a fully insured model, it's like me going to the dealership and buying a car just seeing at their sticker price.
Right. So the biggest issue to me, for you as a consumer, what makes you different than any other company, and as a healthcare advisor, what makes you different than anybody else?
We bring the people.
No, not we. You.
Me and my team.
Okay,
I can't
okay,
do that
good.
by myself.
All right, good.
Because I cannot be an expert on all those areas. But I have a team of mine that is with USI that will sit on our side of the table. Our side, what I'm saying, me and my client. Typically, those professionals, they sit on the other side of the table, right? So when an employer, if they ever had access to an underwriter, that underwriter is from the carrier side, meaning they will only explain things to justify the increases that they're getting. They don't have anybody to sit on their side of the table and advocate for them on their behalf.
Gotcha.
That's where USI invested on, and that's why we're different. We are bringing those experts to our side of the table in order to push back on the prices that have been presented to the market and help the employers to lower the cost. It is possible. It's not an impossible mission. You can lower the cost and still improve benefits for employees.
The way it sounds,
Mm-hmm.
it's not you. It's you and a team of experts. So if somebody is inquiring about you and your company,
Yes.
when you meet with them, you're meeting with not just you, but your whole team to make what's best for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yep. 100%.
Is that not every company's like that, correct?
No.
Now you have two offices, or Miami, or one?
In Miami, we have an office in Coral Gables, and also we have in Broward.
Well, okay, you have two in South Florida.
Mm-hmm. Two in South Florida.
A question: when you go to Broward, do you feel like you're going to another world? It's like, do you know the difference? Can you feel the difference?
Well, you don't need to go too far. Like if you think about it, going back to insurance models, right? Miami, 80% of the market in average is fully insured. Tampa, which same state, is the opposite. 70% of them are already out of the fully insured model and doing self-funded and TPA models.
What's TPA?
TPA is when you're using a third-party administrator.
Okay.
And one thing that I would like to share, you don't get to this level of sophistication to manage and fund healthcare overnight. That's where we come in. We want to hold the employer's hand and provide them with all the tools, the data, the analytics, the benchmarking, the pre-modeling, in order for them to really understand their risk and see how much is it going to cost them to get out of the fully insured plan. Because if you have the opportunity to really shop around and understand the cars that you are looking to buy, would you purchase one just by looking at the sticker price?
No. And the point I keep hearing you have a team, and that's the most important thing. You can't look at the price. You have to look at everything.
Everything.
The team deductible, everything from all the way to the pharmacy costs. Because some insurance companies you pay the full pharmacy. If you're not real healthy, the pharmacy costs go real high. Am I correct?
100%. Pharmacy is a huge problem. Huge problem.
Okay.
And the way that affects employers is that it's a very profitable business. I don't know if you ever sit down on any of the quarterly calls on earnings for the health insurance. Part of them come from the pharmacies because they consolidated them.
Correct. So if people have a question, not about you, but about their policy, you can help them.
100%.
Okay. So this is a great thing about you and your company. You have a question, and I believe in this. Not all people will give you the straight answer. You'll help them. If they have a different company, you'll help them, because it sounds like you're a healthcare advisor, not just for USI. You'll help people.
Well, that's a great point, because when if you look at the meaning of a broker is the person that goes out there and it will get you the best deal. Okay. Healthcare is not a matter of getting the best deal. You have to understand where you stand in order to analyze and be proactive. It's healthcare. You know, my cost if I have somebody with cancer is going to be completely different than somebody else that doesn't. What can you do in order to be proactive and take care of your employees on a way that's going to be benefiting you financially? Now, if you talk to any employer, they've been dealing with those double-digit increases for a year. Now, we preach what we do, you know? So USI, for instance, we've been doing all those strategies. We've been navigating through this journey with our 8,000 employees. Our healthcare costs have not increased in 7 years. There's only 1 year that increases slightly. And this year, our healthcare costs, me, Cynthia Borkoski, as an employee paying for it, I'm actually paying less. How is that possible? You know, because of everything that we've been educating employers on how to do. So imagine if I'm not having to spend 10% more and more and more every single year, that's a huge room for investment on your well-being of your employees. And increase wages. You know, I keep hearing now, oh, because wages are stagnant. But when you hire an employee, it's not only the wages, it's the wages, the taxes, the healthcare, the vacation, the PTO. So where are the wage increases? They're on healthcare.
Correct. So we're going to find out exactly who you are. The challenges. No. Okay. So now we know that you will help people if you have healthcare questions. Cynthia, her emails across the bottom, but we're going to find out who you are.
That's it.
Ready?
Ready. Oh my.
Your favorite pizza place?
Oh, there's actually Sagra Pizzeria, which is close to my house. Very sweet spot and very cozy. Homey. Sushi Makoto in Bal Harbor.
Okay. Your hero as a kid?
Oh, Wonder Woman, I have to say.
Okay. Your favorite cheeseburger or hamburger place?
Oh my, I don't eat cheeseburgers. You know, I'll usually eat like protein style. You know, where is my one? But then it's not here in Miami.
Doesn't matter where.
It's In-N-Out from California.
Okay.
Just love them.
Okay. Argentina or America or anywhere. Your favorite cowboy?
Oh my.
Cowboy movie?
Cowboy actor?
Okay.
Is it Clint Eastwood?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That was a tough one for her.
I know.
Where do you eat chicken?
You know, it may be silly, but like I drive all around town. You know, I love Chicken Kitchen.
Perfect. Okay. Your favorite taco place?
Taco place, Bodega in South Beach.
Wow. Your favorite place to eat fish?
Oh man, I love fish, but I'll tell you, when I think about fish, the one fish that I crave is the sea bass from Sea Spice.
Oh,
I love it. It melts. It melts.
Sea Spice, come on. Okay, couple more. Your favorite football team? Not soccer, football.
Oh.
Or soccer team. Give me a soccer team.
No. Actually football, because hey, I've been watching more football games than soccer. But my brother-in-law is a big Packers fan.
Okay.
So
your favorite animal?
Dogs.
You have a dog?
Of course.
What's your dog's name?
Cooper.
All right.
Yeah.
Your favorite hot dog place?
Oh man, I don't have a favorite hot dog.
Thank you, Arbetters.
Which one? Arbetters? Okay, I need to go there.
Okay, here's a good one. As a kid, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
The one well, it's kind of a funny story. It's a moped that I got at 13 years old. But it was tough because we were in Argentina spending Christmas. So I got my Christmas gift and it was a box just with the key. So imagine I harassed my parents to get back home as soon as possible.
Birthdays. Mom's,
June 7th.
And name all your family members' birthdays. Go.
My mom, June 7th. My dad, April 3rd. My sister, February 1st, which is coming up right now. My youngest nephew, September 3rd. My older nephew, December 11th.
And your birthday?
Mine is June 2nd.
Okay. Got all your birthdays. Remember that June 2nd?
June 2nd.
Okay.
Gemini.
Okay, last question. The magic of the mix. Why is USI a good choice for people?
Because we're on your side.
I like that. Very good.
We're on your side. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And it sounds very complicated. And even for me to explain it is very complicated, but it's complicated for a reason. The industry makes it complicated so they can protect their profit margins.
That's very good.
We need to unveil that. Peel the onion.
We're going to close it out by, if you have any health questions, her email's on the bottom. She's a healthcare advisor. That's what I would title you, not whatever title we employee benefit consultant.
Yeah,
Your advisor. If you have any questions, you'll see her at Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. You'll see her at Greater Miami Chamber. She's out. If you have any questions, see her about it. Everybody, Grant Miller here with Cynthia